Hey, everybody. Off the Mic Sports Network here, another edition of Off the Top Rope. I want to pay some respect here. Obviously, it was very unfortunate with the releases on Friday. Probably the biggest name on that list was Braun Strowman, literally and figuratively. Braun Strowman. Uh, what to say about one Braun Strowman in two runs in WWE? This guy, from being like a powerlifting guy, I think that's what he was. But real name's Adam Shirt. I need to pay respect to this guy because in so many different ways, this could have gone horrendously wrong. And he turned himself into one of the most, you know, reliable and, one of the better big men that they've ever had in WWE. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. And yes, it got messy after he got over. Like Vince McMahon got really cold feet in terms of trying to push him to the mainstream, even though the fans wanted Braun to be like the guy, because this was the middle of the Roman Reigns mega push as like the big dog. And we all know that that was terrible. We know him as the tribal chief now. And hey, the tribal chief Roman Reigns is great. But, big dog Roman Reigns, eh. Um, but Braun managed to turn it in. It was a universal title run during COVID, which was because Roman backed out of it. But still, he won the Intercontinental title. He won the tag team titles a couple times. He won the tag team titles with a 10-year-old. So, um, but he could do comedy. He could do and then specifically when you talk about Braun Strowman and what he did in his last, 3 years, because he came back in late 2022 when Triple H assumed control of WWE and creative. He formed a tag team with Ricochet, which was just shockingly entertaining. They had that great match at WrestleMania 39. Yeah, he gets hurt, but then look at what he did in the last, 2 years. He put Bronson Reed over, a guy who we never thought was ever was not getting very many reactions until he clobbered Seth Rollins. So that was and then Jacob Fatu, who was already over, he puts Jacob Fatu over. Whatever Braun Strowman wants to do in his career, I wish him all the best, man. Because that guy could barely freaking move the last 2 years of his career. Like he was struggling. And you could see him running around the ring doing his Strowman Express. Like he was struggling. And he was having groin problems. He was having knee problems. He had a neck issue that he had to go away for a year. That guy was doing everything he possibly could to entertain people and do it for the love of the game. And for that, Braun Strowman, no matter what you do, if you want to go control your narrative, there's been a lot of control your narrative jokes about putting that back together, which was, that was all sorts of issues. But, Braun came back. He did a lot of great things for WWE. It sucks that this had to happen, but the reality of the situation is this. They're developing a bunch of big dudes. Obafemi's getting ready. I mean, it would have been interesting to see if Obafemi would have gotten a chance to go against, but Braun is at the point of his career. He's in his 40s where he's got a lot of tread on the tires. He's a big guy and he's physically just not where he used to be. But the fact is, like I said, what I will honestly say this, what he did in the last 2 years, putting over Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed, were probably two of the most important things that he ever did for WWE. Even more so than, winning Money in the Bank or, the bro. I remember just popping every time his music would hit. But more so than winning a tag team titles with a 10-year-old, more so than winning the world title, the universal title, and beating Goldberg in what was a nothing match in, the WrestleMania that we all want to forget. But him doing business the way he did and, just, being a good soldier and, going through things. And like I said, it wasn't always perfect. When he was with Vince McMahon, they couldn't figure out if he was a heel or a face. They didn't want to have him beat, they didn't want to have him beat Brock Lesnar. They didn't want to have him be Universal Champion. They didn't want to have him beat Roman Reigns. They didn't want to, have all these certain things were kind of in the way of him, but he made it work. And then he came back to the company after he was, unceremoniously fired 4 years ago, and he had this great run. And yeah, I'm sad that he's gone because he's one of my favorite big guys that's been in this business in a long time. But to see what he was able to accomplish without even winning a championship, really, in the last, Like, hell, he put Gunther over. He faced him for the Intercontinental title at the beginning of Gunther's push, and you know, and put him over strong there. Like, he has done exactly what, like, everybody this is what I get into arguments with people about, like, wins and losses, and like how sometimes it's more important to, go on your back and basically take the 3 count. And, whether it means getting your ass kicked or something, or making somebody else look strong. If you help make a star, you've done just as much of your job as it is winning and losing a match or winning a championship. And in that respect, Braun Strowman was as good as anybody at what he did. No matter what the creative was, no matter how bad it was with Vince McMahon, he did good business. I hated some of the decisions that they made with him about 7, 8, 9 years ago. But here we are. He got a world championship. He had a hell of a run here in WWE. In a lot of ways, this brief run that he had before he got released was maybe more important than the run that he had, which was really the height of his career. Because look at, like I said, Jacob Fatu, Bronson Reed, Gunther, 3 guys who are going to be mainstays in WWE for the long run here. And we'll see with Bronson Reed when he comes back from injury. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.